Now, your Weather Authority forecast from meteorologist Hannah Gard.
Welcome back. It is 12:30 on this Monday, and we are tracking an August front that's going to make it to us by the middle parts of the week and bring a nicer feel. We also have no hurricanes to track, which is great news as we are in the peak of hurricane season. But for the next 2 days, we're dealing with a dry heat during the day, and then we will see a slight drop in temperatures at night. That'll feel really nice in the morning hours. If you want to head out there on your morning run or walk, it will be a great day to get a little taste of maybe some fake fall coming in here. Dew point right now sitting in the low 70s, which isn't too bad on the North Shore, and then New Orleans International 74, 75 in the West Bank. That's lower than we're used to this time of year, but it's going to continue to fall into the afternoon. Usually from 3 to 6 is when we have our driest times of the day, dew point wise, and that will help with the heat index. It's not going to be as hot as it could be, and then it typically will increase a little bit into the evening hours, but 95 for our high today. Still going to be hot, but again, it's the heat index that typically during the summertime pushes us to around 105 each day. We're not going to quite get up to there because of the lower dew points. Rain chance only around 20%. Mainly for the coastal areas. You can already see we have some storms down there along the coast. Here's the front. It's making its way closer to us. Nice fall weather up to the north. 68 in Omaha, 70 right now in Indianapolis. They get an actual taste of fall. We're 91. We will see the lower dew points though starting to sink in. Even as late as later tonight, tomorrow morning, we could see some of that drier air making it to us, but it will fully pass through by Wednesday. That's when we could get some 50s with our dew points. But even just up to the north, Bogalusa has 62 right now on the dew points. That's not too bad. So that will continue to fall into the afternoon, into the 60s for most of us. And then tomorrow, dry all day. By late Wednesday, we're looking at really nice dew point conditions. This is going to be 60s, 50s, feeling really, really good even into Thursday morning. So that will allow our lows, especially on the North Shore, to fall even farther. We could be in the 60s when you're waking up, upper 60s, but still feels good. Mid 90s today and tomorrow. Before the front fully passes through, we need that northerly flow to actually knock off our high temperatures. So by Wednesday, we get to 89 for the high. That feels much nicer. Our average is 91. So we're below normal, and then we'll be around 90 Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The feel starts to change though in the later parts of the week. I think today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, most of the day is spent below 100 degrees on the feels like temperatures. We start to get back into the triple digits Thursday and Friday as the humidity begins to return. But this is the good news. If you're waiting for fall, we are on the downhill now. We've made it past mid-August. We're getting closer to September, and that's when we get to back off on the temperatures. By the end of September, our average temperature in the upper 80s, and then we really start to get toward fall after that. We are in the peak of hurricane season though, and this is the great news. There's really not much happening. This is Fernand out here to the east of Bermuda. This is a fish storm heading out to sea. We were tracking Invest 99L as it passed into the Caribbean. Now has a 0 chance for tropical formation. That broad wave really getting torn apart by wind shear, just not able to form into anything. And this is a good place to be as we are in the peak of hurricane season. Now, something interesting is we have had more named storms than this time last year. We've had 6 named systems, but only 1 hurricane. Last year we had 5 named systems, 3 of those were hurricanes, but look what happened in September. That's why we have to still keep our guard up, even when we have these lulls in activity. Through Labor Day, looks like we won't see much, but we are heading toward the peak. Mid-September, that is the peak of hurricane season, and we got to watch anything that happens during these next 2 or so months. Then, once we get past mid-October, that's when things start to look a little bit better for us. Current conditions out there, 91 at New Orleans International, feels like 100. So that's kind of the max on the heat index. Will go down with the dew points through the rest of the day. It still feels hot out there, of course, but it's not as hot as it could be. On Viper radar, we're seeing some storms down near Grand Isle. We do have to watch for a couple of storms today possible, mainly through the late afternoon, potentially for the coastal areas, but I think the climbing north would be difficult for any of these storms today because we have that drier air. It's going to be dry through about Thursday morning. Then we'll see that humidity starting to crawl back in. Our rain chances increasing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. not washout days at all for Labor Day weekend, just back to our normal summer pattern, Liz, where we got to keep an eye on the radar in the afternoon.
I can't believe it's Labor Day weekend that
I
we're talking
know.
about already, right?
It's crazy that we're getting towards September, but I love that there's not much happening in the tropics this time of year. This is really lucky for us. We know we've seen a lot of action in the end of August, and we are glad to not have that.
Blessed and thankful for it, and hopefully it stays that way.
Yes, that would be great.
That would be great. Thank you, Hannah.